On the morning of August 17, after burning for an entire afternoon and through the night, the fire on the Minsk aircraft carrier was finally extinguished. Once a formidable presence, the carrier now has a scorched bridge riddled with holes, though the rear remains intact, hinting at its former glory. The Minsk, moored for years along the northern shore of the Yangtze River, was set to be transformed into a national defense-themed park and educational base, with plans for a leisure and tourism complex. Local media had recently boasted of a 2 billion yuan investment aiming to open by National Day. It appears that the fire may have been caused by improper procedures during the transformation into the defense education base. The renovation team likely failed to adhere to strict shipboard fire regulations during the construction process. In China, when repairing or modifying large ships, stringent rules must be followed if welding is required. Project leaders must first file a detailed fire safety application, outlining responsibilities and safety measures. All flammable and explosive materials must be removed or safely covered, and fire extinguishers and sand must be fully prepared before any work begins. Once welding starts, personnel must stand by the fire extinguishers ready to act at the first sign of a spark. With leadership overseeing the process on site, although complex, these rules are based on hard-earned experience. This time, it seems the Minsk didn't follow the rules. The team, more capable with park renovations than on modifying an aircraft carrier, may have been understaffed, and the fire got out of hand before they could respond. The carrier, inactive for years, had no power, no shore electricity, and no functional damage control systems. Once ablaze, it was destined to burn without intervention. A critical detail: the Minsk superstructure is largely made of aluminium-magnesium alloy. This material is lightweight and strong but highly flammable. Once ignited, it burns intensively. During the 1970s, the Soviet Union, Japan, and the US favored it for warship construction until the Falkland War revealed its vulnerability to fire, leading to a return to steel structures. Additionally, the carrier interior was filled with flammable materials such as plastic sheeting, trash bags, and exhibition mannequins. These materials fueled the flames, rapidly spreading the fire. The Minsk was docked in a closed port basin under the Sutong Bridge, over 400 meters from the southern embankment and 160 meters from the nearest road, making it difficult for firefighting ships and trucks to reach. Without large firefighting aircraft and the helicopters unable to extinguish the blaze effectively, firefighters had no choice but to watch the inferno grow into a disaster. The fire burnt through over 1,000 square meters, with the command tower charred beyond recognition and the deck severely warped by the heat. Initially, the plan was to restore the carrier to its former state as part of the Soviet Navy, creating a military-themed attraction. Now those hopes have gone up in smoke. Repairing the superstructure will be challenging and costly. Just clearing the debris and assessing the deck's integrity is a monumental task, compounded by the fact that China lacks the original blueprints. Experts who once surveyed the Russian cruiser Vyeg may need to be brought in, raising cost significantly. Given the current financial climate, it's more practical to sell the carrier to the Chinese Navy as a target practice. Local governments struggling with tight budgets are unlikely to fund the creation of a carrier-themed attraction. Some have even suggested towing the now charred Minsk to the South China Sea and breaching it on Renai's Reef as a strategic outpost. With a couple of battalions stationed on it and months of supplies, it could serve a valuable military purpose. However, the Chinese military may be hesitant to take such drastic steps. Before the fire on August 13, the Shanghai Industrial Transformation and Development Institute published an article questioning whether the Minsk still had a future after 8 years at the mouth of the Yangtze. Citing public information, the article noted that Nantong had plans to turn the carrier into a 60 billion yuan international tourism and vacation zone, spearheaded by the Dalian Yongjia Group. Yet the project had stalled, primarily due to funding issues, with local governments now grappling with financial strains. Investing billions into a cultural and tourism park seemed far too risky. The article compared the Minsk to an unwanted chicken rib for Nantong, expensive to revamp with uncertain returns, yet wasteful to scrap after all the money and publicity already invested. However, after this devastating fire, the city government may finally have the justification to abandon the project. This event has also sparked wild speculation online. Some have linked the fire to Russia's setbacks in Ukraine, while others joked that the Minsk was seeking rebirth to storm the Black Sea and encircle Ukraine. There were even suggestions that the Moscow sunk and the Minsk aflame, the intact Kyiv, might be sending a hidden message. No one seems to care whether the Minsk will ever become a park anymore. The smoldering ashes seems to symbolize the fading glory of Russia's past and now drifting away like the dust in the wind. And some even joked, with the Hungry Ghost Festival approaching, the old Soviet brothers, the Minsk, decided to burn itself early. Rumors has it that this may be the work of a parallel world where China deliberately sent an aircraft carrier to the underworld for its navy. This Minsk is a Kiev-class carrier from the former Soviet Union. Whether it will be head to the South China Sea to make contribution or serve in the underworld, as some people speculate. We can only leave that to our imaginations. The Minsk was a star aircraft carrier in the 1970s. Construction began in 1972, it was launched in 1975, and officially entered service on September 27, 1978. In